from downtown Detroit. Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
Temperatures are plummeting across Metro Detroit, but this Friday freeze won't be around for long.
How cold is it going to get this weekend? And when do we get back to the 60s? That was fun. After a few weeks of warmer temperatures, I almost forgot it is still February. Good to have you with us tonight at 11. I'm Devin Skillian.
I'm Kimberly Gill. In parts of Metro Detroit tonight, it feels like we're in the teens. A big difference from just a few hours ago. So let's get over to Kim Adams for a look at when the warmer weather will return. Kim.
Yes, we are getting a stern reminder that it is indeed still wintertime here in Metro Detroit, but it's brief. It's just a quick shot of cold air, and then we're right back to very mild weather. 26 downtown, it's 24 in Mount Clemens, 22 in Pontiac, low to mid 20s pretty much everywhere you go, but it is definitely colder than it was at the same time last night. Look at this 24-hour temp change. 15 degrees colder downtown, 14 degrees colder in Mount Clemens, and 12 degrees colder right now than it was just 24 hours ago in Pontiac. Wind chills tomorrow morning when you wake up. If you want to take the dog for a walk, or if you exercise outside and you take a walk, you might want to wait just a little bit, because at 7 a.m. it will feel like it's 8 in Pontiac and Mount Clemens, 3 above zero over in Howell, and 13 out at the airport. So a very chilly morning for us. We do warm into the low 30s, if you can call that warm, but wind chills will stay in the 20s throughout the day. But there is a 60-degree day in that forecast, so we'll talk about when that is and the next chance for rain coming up.
Kim, for the first time in 5 years, Michigan has a confirmed case of the measles. The Michigan Department of Health and Human Services wasting no time in issuing an alert.
Tonight, we've confirmed the sick child is in Oakland County. Mara McDonald is live with more on where this child caught this highly contagious virus. Mara.
Kimberly, we're at the airport, and here's why. The health department is telling us that this child traveled internationally. The belief is that he or she, contracted this overseas, didn't realize it, came home, was sick. So now the question becomes, what is the exposure? Well, the health department says they believe that it is contained. The last time measles was in Michigan was in 2019, and it created serious problems. More than 40 people were infected, ranging in age from 8 months to 63 years old. To give you an idea of how wildly infectious measles is, we turn to Dr. Gretchen Snow-Boss-Newman, infectious diseases expert at the Detroit Medical Center.
It's one of the most infectious viruses that we have. There's a measure that we use called R0, which is the number of people that any one person with a disease will go on to infect. For something like flu, it's between 2 and 3. For measles, it's 19.
Think about that. And we all know how easy it is to come down with the flu. It makes you realize how at risk those unvaccinated are. And if you look at the statistics from the state on our vaccination rate, it hovers between 83 and 84%.
It's lower than it was, and it's concerningly low. Pediatric infectious disease doctors, pediatricians, and the public health community at large have really been trying to ring this alarm since before the pandemic, but certainly in the wake of the pandemic, where we're seeing decreased rates of childhood vaccination, and measles is the anchor of childhood vaccination.
Why doesn't that 83 to 84% cut it? Well, because the virus is so infectious. You need to be at 90% coverage for herd immunity. We're not there. While the hope is this current case can be contained, the state health department is recommending anybody 1 and over get vaccinated. Something else to consider: the vaccine is effective within 72 hours of exposure. Back here live, something that doctors want you to know is that no matter what your medical insurance situation is or your money situation is, there really is no barrier to getting a measles vaccine. Call your local health department. They can help you out. We are live at Detroit Metropolitan Airport tonight. I'm Mara McDonald, Local 4.
Okay, Mara, thank you.
3 men are charged now in the drive-by shooting of an 11-year-old girl. The parents tonight facing this difficult decision about whether to take their daughter off life support. These men are accused of firing 23 shots into a home, striking 11-year-old Lamara Glenn in the head. It's alleged 2 of the men were driving one of the SUVs stolen from a car dealership last week when they drove by the house on Pennsylvania on the city's east side and fired shots into the home. Chief James White says this cannot continue.
You just can't police stupidity. And when adults decide to bring children into their confrontations and conflicts, that's just completely unacceptable.
Police say if Lamara Glenn passes, they are ready to upgrade charges to first-degree murder. They are still searching for at least 2 other suspects, though, in the case.
New at 11, it's a controversial book that's got the attention of Redford Union schools. The book is no longer being read by students, but the substitute teacher who first raised concerns is also no longer with the district. Jacqueline Francis spoke with both the school and the former teacher. And Jacqueline, what is this about, this particular text that's sparking so much passion, I guess?
Kimberly, it has a storied history. Here's the book, And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. It's one of the most famous mystery novels of all time. But when it was first published in the U.S., it was called something else, 10 Little Indians. Here's an old copy we found at a local library. And when it was initially published in the UK decades ago, it had another title. And that's what had this teacher so upset. It all started in a 9th grade English classroom at Redford Union Junior High School this past fall.
I don't want to read the book, and it's that simple.
Ajmera Johnson was assigned as the long-term sub. The book she was assigned to read with her students, And Then There Were None, one of the world's most famous mystery novels by one of the world's most famous writers of all time, Agatha Christie, a title that remains aligned with the state-issued content standards and expectations. But Johnson had concerns about its original publishing title in 1939.
I looked it up, and before I could even get the whole title out, and then there were 10 little...
The original title included the N-word. It was then changed to 10 Little Indians, before being renamed the current title, And Then There Were None. The current version of the book the students were reading included no offensive language. Johnson took her concerns to the principal, saying,
"We cannot read this, like, what is this?" You know, it kind of goes against my background, my kids' background.
The school told her that the book was in the curriculum. The district told parents in a letter, quote, "Regrettably, the substitute teacher chose to leave RUJH that afternoon," essentially stating that she could not remain in that assignment. This action led to the decision to remove her from the approved list of contracted substitute teachers for this school building. The district tells us after the book's origins were brought to their attention and researched by the administration, the use of this particular text was discontinued.
I would hate for them to grow up in 10, 15 years and say, "That's what Miss Johnson taught us?" No, Miss Johnson didn't teach you that. Miss Johnson stood her ground, and I stand on what I believe in.
The district's full response is on our website, clickondetroit.com. Reporting live tonight, Jacqueline Francis, Local 4.
Okay, Jacqueline, thank you.
A judge today said no to reducing bond for a Detroit man accused of killing 2 people inside a Colorado college dorm. 25-year-old Nicholas Jordan was enrolled at the University of Colorado at Colorado Springs. He's being held on a $5 million bond. He's charged with 2 counts of murder. Police say he shot and killed 26-year-old Celie Montgomery and 24-year-old Samuel Knopp in a dorm room. Next hearing in the case set for March 15th.
City of Detroit is expanding its fleet of first responder vehicles, adding half a dozen new ambulances. With the new additions, the city says it averages more than 40 ambulances per day on the street, which is the most in the city's history. That should help with emergency response times. Detroit is currently below the national average at 7 minutes and 33 seconds. That's an improvement from 10 years ago when wait times could top 20 minutes. Well, did you know 3 out of 4 cardiac arrests happen at home? That means knowing hands-only CPR could save someone you love.
And that's why we want you to join us in becoming CPR Lifesavers. Local 4 teaming up with the City of Detroit to teach hands-only CPR for free in our Go For It event, CPR Lifesavers. That's coming up this Monday from 11 a.m. until 7 p.m. We're going to be at the Northwest Activity Center. You can sign up in advance at clickondetroit.com. You can scan the QR code that you see on the screen right now, but walk-ins are welcome as well. So we know a whole bunch of people have already signed up, which is great, and we hope to see you there too.